To replace the HTxT4 backrest actuator, the first thing we need to do is power off the chair, then unplug it. Next, we need to remove the pad set by detaching the hook and loop fasteners. Then we can raise the chair seat to expose the actuator. Next, we'll detach the right hand upholstered side flap to give us better access. And we can begin cutting the zip ties that secure the actuator cabling to the chair frame. Next, we'll use a Phillips head screwdriver to remove the two screws that secure the connector box cover. Then we can remove the cover. Then we can pull the connectors up out of the connector box and detach the two sets of white connectors. Next, we need to make sure we have access to the bolt that secures the actuator. If the chair frame is in the way, we'll need to use the button on the in-arm control panel to slide the chair forward to provide access to that bolt. Next, we'll use a 10mm Allen wrench to remove the bolt. The torque is very tight, however, so you may need to use a vice grip to break the torque. Next, we'll use that same Allen wrench to remove the inner bolt. Now we're ready to close the seat. Use the backrest release lever to tip the backrest forward onto the seat. Then go ahead and remove the cotter pin from the hinge pin that secures the actuator in the rear, and then use a flathead screwdriver to pry that pin out of the mounting point. Then we can remove the actuator from the chair. To install the new actuator, then we can place it into position from the rear of the chair. Align the actuator mounting point with the bracket. and then insert that hinge pin from the right to secure it. Once the hinge pin's through, then you can replace the cotter pin to hold the pin in place. Like so. Next, we can align the actuator in front and replace the outer bolt, tightening it first by hand, and then securing it using that 10mm Allen wrench. Again, you'll want to use a vice grip or something to make sure you can get that bolt nice and tight. Then we can raise the backrest, open the seat, and replace the inner bolt. And make sure both of those bolts have retained the washers that came with them. Next, we need to feed the actuator cable under the outer chair frame, over the frame that's second from the left, and under the frame that's third from the left, before connecting it to the corresponding white connector. So it's under, over, under. And then we need to locate that other cable coming from the chair that has a white connector and reconnect those connectors as well. Okay, then we can begin arranging the connectors inside the connector box, inserting the strain relief from each cable into the corresponding slots. Once those are all in position, we can replace the connector box cover. And use a Phillips head screwdriver to secure the two screws. Now we're ready to begin replacing the zip ties. You may first need to clean remnant zip tie pieces out of the zip tie mounting tabs, but then simply begin replacing the zip ties using those tabs. Then we can use a wire cutter to cut the excess zip tie. And we can close the seat. Okay, then we can secure that seat with the hook and loop fasteners. And we need to replace that right-hand upholstered flap, attaching it to the chair frame with hook and loop fasteners. Okay, we're ready to place the pads into position from the front and then attach them using the hook and loop fasteners. And then from the front, push backward on the seat so it's all the way back, lower it into position, and push down firmly to secure it using the hook and loop fasteners. And finally, we can place the head pillow into position and secure it using the hook and loop fasteners. Then we can plug in the chair and power it on. And we're done.